kids, how are we? Right, this is going to be a bit of a long stream. There's a lot of stuff to go through. I'm going to start by going through the macro picture, so how the Fed and Jerome Powell, what they're doing and how that influences the stock market and how that will influence investors, and that's very important for Bitcoin at this current moment in time. I would then go to on-chain metrics because that's also very interesting, and we'll then go to some of the key charts and then into the actual coin charts. But I will say throughout this, there's a lot of contrasting information, and I do speak to a lot of people that are sort of big on Twitter, big on Instagram for crypto, and even they're very sort of up in the air about everything, which overall is probably a good sign because when even the sort of the top guys are actually quite fearful. In times of fear, that's when crypto seems to be the time to buy. So, but look, let's have a look. Let's go through everything and see what we think. But just to explain with regards to the Fed and the US government, what they do. So with the pandemic, they basically printed more money than they've ever printed before, and how they get this into the system is, well, usually what they do is they buy bonds with it. So in buying up company, corporate, and US dollar bonds, they put dollars that they printed into the economy, which is the stock market. Obviously, over the last 18 months, we've seen them do other things, which has been, any sort of Tom, Dick, and Harry can just say, oh, by the way, I'm a US citizen, and they just gave them $1,500. So that's been the most extreme way they've ever put money into the system. But that's what they've done over this last year. So they've put, I think, something like 40% of all US dollars was created in the last 18 months, which is mental because obviously you've had since, hundreds of years of dollars being there, and yet 40% has been created in the last 18 months. It just shows how much money they've actually printed and put into the system. So there will be a collapse at some point. It's trying to work out when that collapse will be, and if we have still got a bull cycle before that collapse, between now and when I think that collapse may come. So what's happening at the moment is the government are putting in, I think still north of $100 billion a month into the economy through the bond buying, and they slowly taper this down. So next month it'll be 100, the month after it'll be 80, next month it'll be 60, blah, 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 and it'll keep going down. So that's called the tapering process. So that's the government stimulation not being as high as the previous month, and it's slowly winding down. What they will then do is once they've come down to not putting any more money into the market, they now want to take some of the cash back out of the market to lower the inflation rate. So they'll raise rates, and they'll also issue government treasuries. Those government treasuries will be sort of 10 years long or whichever. And what they'll do is that will allow corporates or investors to buy that treasury and take that cash out of the system for now, and that will help lower inflation. So Powell is coming out on Wednesday to do another speech. What we're hoping for, so what we want to see is we want to see more money come into the economy, and obviously the government at this moment in time are bringing money out or taking money out of the economy or putting less in, and they'll get to the point where they put zero in each month and they start taking money out. So what we want is to have money coming into the economy, which is what they've done over the last 18 months, and you've seen Bitcoin go crazy, you've seen equities, the stocks go crazy, so this is all good. So what's happening now is he's doing this tapering, so less money coming, they're putting less and less money into the economy. So what we want to see is that tapering slow down. We want it to still be the case that the new COVID variant has scared them slightly, and they still continue to pump money into the economy, and they're less aggressive with this tapering process. If he comes out on Wednesday and he says, we still want to be aggressive with our tapering, that will probably shock the markets, and to be honest with you, that could kill us slightly. So I think the meeting on Wednesday is quite pivotal, so let's see how that goes. But what will happen is if he does come out and do that, then there won't be loads of liquidity in the market anymore. So when you see, if I can take your attention to the chart, so on a 12-hour window, or candle, sorry, we had this move down here. And look, there was buying all the way up from 41,000 to the candle close at late 46,000s. So at this price, it's finding liquidity. There's buyers coming in. Lots and lots and lots of buyers are coming in. So that's the liquidity being there. When it comes to the point where they're doing this strong tapering, investors are less likely to go into riskier assets. So with Bitcoin, you're not going to see the amount of liquidity. You'll see the candle come all the way down here. This was over leveraged, so you're never going to get this significant pullback in bear market conditions. But once the tapering does stop and there's zero stimulus coming into the economy, you're going to see what happens is these candles will come down and they'll close towards the low, because there won't be the buying that drives the price back up, because there isn't liquidity there, because investors are now playing safe. You also don't have the stimulus basically of $100x billion coming into the market every month. So yeah, the liquidity is going to be far less. But that's a rough explanation. I can do like a more written breakdown of how that will all work. But what we're hoping to see is that will take 4 to 6 months. We're hoping to see that Powell comes out and is less aggressive with the tapering. So that will be good, because it will give us, investors might sort of look at each other and say, are we going to jump back in on this or not? Because they're all sort of sitting there at the moment, at this moment in time, wondering, do we dive back in? Do we not dive back in? Or if he comes out and he's really aggressive, well, they're not going to be diving back in. If he comes out and says, we need to be cautious, blah, 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 then what's going to happen is you're going to see investors say, this has got another 4 months in this, let's jump back in again. And they'll jump back in. And this looks very similar to this here. It looks extremely similar. So what we might see is a fill into here. It depends on what Powell says on Wednesday. It really does depend on what Powell says. But if he comes out at this moment in time, if we go to the daily, I think we did get the bull div, sorry. No, we didn't. So the 12 hour is what we're going to be looking for it on. We want to see a daily, a 12 hourly close here, like 46,000 on the dot, on the money, $46,000. That will bring the RSI down to here, create the bull div, and that might be enough. Assuming on Wednesday Powell comes out and is less aggressive, hopefully before Wednesday we get this move into here, get the bull div created, and investors start saying, come on, let's jump on this. But obviously on Wednesday I'll let you know exactly what's said, what my thoughts are, and we'll go from there. But this will all depend on what happens on Wednesday, I think, personally. But let's start with some on-chain stuff. We'll go through that, and then we'll move into, because we're trying to build a narrative now of what other people might be doing, what might they be thinking, and also how we should be thinking, and how we should play against what the normal majority of the market is doing. So let's zoom in slightly. Exchange net position change has been pretty good. So we've got these further accumulation points, which is really good to see. That's good. So for all those that don't know, haven't watched my streams before, the red spikes is good. That's what we want to see. That indicates that over the net ins and outs, there's more outs, so more Bitcoin leaving exchanges and being put in cold storage wallets and being put into exchanges. If Bitcoin is going into exchanges, we assume it's moving into there to be sold. So the red is good for us. That's what we want to see. We'd like to see it, if I zoom out slightly, we'd like to see it come deeper. I think over this next week, Wednesday through Sunday, if Wednesday Powell comes out and is pretty kind, then we might see this go longer, and that would be really positive to see. But yeah, that's it for the exchange net position change. And we have to see with Wednesday, it is really important. Coin days destroyed. This is the our long-term people selling. So no, that's pretty good. Let's look at what type. So we did have the 3 to 6 month guys. I'll zoom out slightly. So this is all coins aged between 3 months. Between 3 months old and 6 months old. So this is still short-term investors. Relatively, it's still pretty short-term. We can see there was a spike in selling. So excellent, that's good. We want to see the short-term guys panicking, selling their bags, and the long-term whales buying the bags. So this is good to see. We want to see this. This is good. So 6 to 12 months is mid-term. We'd rather see them be a bit less, but unfortunately they weren't. They were pretty, they're pretty hard on in their selling. But I did do a stream or a video, I can't remember which one it was, the other day explaining this. And basically at this price here, they came down to about 48k, and obviously it did go down to 42, 43, 44. So they're selling at some point in there. It just did close up at about 47, 48, which is why you still on where it says Saturday, December the 4th, spent out per lifespan, blah blah blah. The price only says 48,000, but it did go down to 42,000. So they would have been selling into this. And if you think about it, 6 months old from December, you're going all the way back to what's that? May, June. So May, June was here. So they could have bought it anywhere from 29,000 to as high as 64,000. If you go back to last December, December the 5th. So they could have bought it from anywhere between 18,000 and 64,000, which is an absolutely mental range. So, and these people were buying in the bull market. They weren't buying down here because they're the 6 to 12 month guys. So we're not looking at the long-term whales, but we're accumulating in these huge price dips here, which I'll show you on the whale map. This is now the whales, the large wallet inflows for the whales. As we can see, that part down there, and actually people did actually sell this. So this used to be bigger blue bubbles. But these guys down here are not selling. The people in here haven't really been selling. The people in here have been. But we're getting more accumulation again here. So it's really good to see this. Yeah, it's good to see. But you can see that with these big price dips, what we did have whale buying, this has now actually gone, as in those people that did buy there have now sold, which is why the blue bubble doesn't show up anymore. But down here, the whales were buying. So these guys here got in December last year. Bitcoin was at 18,000. It was, 10% off its all-time highs. These aren't the whales or the long-term investors that are buying in when nobody cares about Bitcoin. So these guys are not considered long-term anymore. They're now considered the mid-term. And even then, there will be a lot of weak hands in here, which is why you saw this. But yeah, I've sort of taken too long on that metric. But just trying to explain it to you guys in sort of good detail, and why there will be a lot of actual weak hands in what looks like it should be the long-term holders. But that bracket doesn't even count as long-term anymore. It counts as mid-term, but at the same time, the actual amount of smart investors in there will be low in comparison to the 1, 2 year and 2 to 3 year. 1 to 2 year, we can see not an ounce of selling pretty much, literally extremely low, nothing, which is really good to see. This is positive. 2 to 3 year, we'd like to see the same. Again, we've got a little bit of a spike, but nothing. The 2 to 3 year guys, they sell into the price rebounds. Other than this anomaly here, they sell into strength. So you saw some sort of panicking a little bit, which is a bit strange to see, but it's come right back down now. So it's okay. We look at addresses. This is also important. So this is all addresses with more than 10 Bitcoin in, and we can see it's on a rise, so that's good. We want to see that the whales are accumulating. So the 10k and the 1k address balances are the most important. We want to see that 10k wallets and 1k wallets in Bitcoin size is increasing. That then tells us that if it is increasing, that those guys that had 8,000, 9,000 Bitcoin are now adding to their pots or adding to their balances. So we want to see the amount above 10,000, the amount of addresses above 10,000 increase, because that would suggest that the guys with 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 Bitcoin are adding to their wallets. And again, with 1k, the guys with 700, 800, 900 Bitcoin are starting now to add and accumulating more than 1,000 Bitcoin. So you want to see the addresses increase. So 10 Bitcoin is still like shrimp level. It's increasing, but we don't really care about that. We had a dip here on the 100. Nothing, we don't really care about the 10 and 100, to be honest. The 1k. So the 1k is slightly worrying because we don't want it to be downturning like this. But they've been pretty flat the whole time. So since the top of the bull market at no, it wasn't even at the top. They sold at about 46k. I think there was a bear div created here, which is why you probably saw this come down drastically. But they've not really been up or down here. And you could see here, it went down even more drastically. So we might be getting the same thing here occurring if we get another price move down to that 45, 46k I'm talking about. We might get that last pull down here, which is similar to this pull down. Yes, which would be similar to this one here, which is the same as what we got roughly there, and then they accumulated on the price dip. So let's see what we get with this one. But the 10Ks is the most important, and look, that's very good. So that's pretty much, it's been a bit, choppy, a bit up and down, and it's started to make more like decent gains upwards. And you can see now we've gone from 91 addresses from 81 at the all-time high. So this is good. This shows that we're getting the balances actually starting to accumulate. So that's good to see. The 1K is slightly worrying. The 100 to 10, it's in our favour, but we don't actually really want to place huge importance on them. But yeah, overall, so there's, as I said, contrasting pictures in both of those. Yeah, and even on the lifespan, the 6 to 12 month guys, it's really difficult to know how many not smart investors are in that bracket that are selling. So it's really difficult to know. So there's some contrasting information. Let's look at the market indicators, and we will look at NVRV ratio. So with this one, it pretty much followed the price the whole time, but you've seen it come down. So if we scroll right out, so 2016, it shows you at times where this ratio is high. So when in the top of bull markets, we've always got above like 3.5. Let's zoom right out to 2013. So 2013, you got as high as 5, but it's always been above. So 4, 5. This one was like just in the 4s. This one nearly in the 4s. So we could easily get another move up, because look how low this is in comparison. It's the same. It's even lower. It's the same when we was at $13,000. So, does this look like this is oversold to you guys? It looks to me like this could still have more room to go, basically. MVRVZ score is important also. Again, so this is an indicator where you buy in the green. But buying the green has always been the best opportunity to buy Bitcoin, and you sell in the red, basically. So we did get in the red, so that's why we've got a lot of the big guys start selling there, and we've come right back down to here. So the question is, and look in 2017, you had it come all the way back down extremely quickly, but we're still holding quite high here. Not high, but we're not near the green zone. So again, I don't know if this looks more negative than it looks more positive. I would say this looks more positive than it looks negative, but it's very hard to know at this moment in time. But yeah, let's move on to, I've been through this. Yep, I've been through this. Let's go to some of the main charts. So I wanted to cover ETH BTC. Let's go to 3 days. So I don't know about you guys, but to me that looks extremely bullish. Like, you've got a breakout from long-term horizontal resistance here, retest, and a big move up. You've now created this pennant, like it's a pennant-like wedge, but usually these pennants or wedges in this formation go the way of how they were created. So it was created from a big up move. So this would suggest it's going to go the way of a big up move. So either Bitcoin is going to go down loads and Ethereum is going to stay at the same level, which, let's be fair, has never happened. Or Bitcoin is going to move up and Ethereum is going to outpace it, which happens every time. So you would think that this might come down, have a retest of this level, which is exactly what it's doing. You can see it's retesting this high and this high. We're pretty much getting there. We could even come down and test the border. And then it might be the case we have a season. But again, it all depends on what comes out on Wednesday. Another thing I wanted to look at was... Okay, so this is the Bitcoin CME chart. As you can see, 90% of the time gaps are filled. Well, maybe not 90% of the time. So we opened this morning up here. So there was this gap. So we've gone down and we filled it. But we have this gap here, which the wicks don't count. Yeah, the wicks just don't count. Even here you've got a wick. It always comes down and fills the gap properly. This one hasn't actually been filled. but let's see what happens there. But if we do get a move up, for me the resistance is at 53,000. If we can get above 53,000, that is the main core resistance I think we'll have. But yeah, let's just move on to Bitcoin. But if I go to 12-hour, the orange box, which is usually the resistance box, is causing a bit of trouble at this moment in time. And I did say before, we need to show signs of strength. At the moment, holding this level is good, but not getting above it is not good either. So, pretty much. We got out the downtrend, could hold above it, and now we've fallen back in it. Let's just get rid of this one. We need to show some form of technical level that suggests there's big strength there. And coming down and creating the bull div in here would be what we need, I believe. But everyone at the moment is calling for, there's going to be a bear market. When Powell comes out on Wednesday, it's going to be aggressive. That's going to then lead to a bear market. I'm seeing the same level of people, crying about Bitcoin, saying it's going to go down to, ridiculous levels. The same as what we had in here. Bitcoin came from 60k down into the, late 29s, early 30 to 31,000s. People were saying the exact same thing, and then it just took off. So let's see what we get. But I know usually in times of fear, so if we look here, this is the fear and greed index. So we can see last week we were at 16, yesterday we were at 27, now we're at 28. This is the 1 year fear and greed index chart. As you know, we had the peak in April and in May. We then came off, stayed in here, stayed as low as, we were as low as 10, 20, 30. Then in, I think it was September 25th, we were in there. Let's go to September 25th. September 25th is in here. So we're at big fear there as well. And it's pretty much the bottom. So at that point where it shows you we're in big fear, that was a bottom there. There was a bottom. There was a bottom. Let's go back to it. So we also had here, that was between the 20th and the 30th of September, which is exactly the level I just showed you guys from the 20th, so from this week. So I'm guessing to here, yep, to there. In that's where the big fear was. And look where we are now. It looks so similar with this big red downtrend line going into orange boxes, turning down, filling the yellow boxes, moving up, but not going as high as the previous high, then into an orange box, down. Filling, well, it actually didn't fill there. I think I got my first smallest order filled for something ridiculous. It was just, I build bigger orders the further down we go. So the fact that I got one fill there, and it was for something like $200. But yeah, anyway, but we're seeing something very similar to here. But hopefully we get this fill and we create the bull div, because here we didn't get the bull div, which might have been what I was saying. Look, let's see if we can get that move there, because we got the higher move on the RSI, but we didn't get the lower low. So here it looks like we're trying to go for it now. 47. We need to close below here, so about 46,500. We need to close at about 46,000, and the RSI to not go below that point, which it's not going to do. But that would be enough to create the bull div. But again, if we go back to the crypto fear and greed index, we had from the 5th of December, we were at levels of 18, 25, 16, between 15 and 29. Sorry, what date was that? 5th of December. So again, 5th of December was in here. So in there, in that blue candle, because it registers a day late. So it's basically picking up this day here. And we've stayed in this same level. Again, the exact same as this. So I don't know. I've been doing this since sort of 2017, and I think that you can almost sit down and say there's indicators that are real life indicators, like when you go to the pub on a Friday night and Bitcoin is at an all-time high, and you've got your mate that knows absolutely nothing about crypto start asking you questions, saying he's thinking about buying in. Usually that's a great time to sell your crypto. So that's like a real world indicator. Another real world indicator, so we're getting to move down here now actually. Let's see what we get. It's quite good that this is happening in the stream. I'm quite pleased about this. but you'd like to see it come down to like 40, maybe, I don't know, just somewhere in here, hold the level and rebound and then close in there and create that bull dip. That would be really great to see. And I have been calling this for, since here, really, assuming we didn't disastrously break down from the flag. But let's see what we get, because this is reasonably nice, and might be what we need to make that move upwards. But yeah, sorry, going back to the crypto fear and greed index, we've been at these levels here, same, not as low as there, but pretty much in the same region. But yeah, let's see what we get with this. But Powell on Wednesday will be really important to see what he says, and it depends if we can hold these. If we, let's say the worst happens and we don't hold these levels, then you're in trouble. You're looking to hold this pivot here at 40k, but then you're not looking. I wouldn't be looking to thinking, oh, is there a massive bull market going on again? I would maybe look to take a lot more risk off the table into price rebounds. That's what I then look to do. But for now, it's all okay. It's still, this fractal here. Sorry, it's a bit slow because I'm running the stream as well. But this fractal from here, so the exact same market conditions we had in here before we filled this and moved up, the exact same market conditions we had here, we're having here, in terms of like how people are talking about it, the amount of fear that's in the market. And then we made this fractal move up like that, move into a high with a bear div, exactly what we got, and then a move down. But then we filled a yellow box. Well, we didn't, but we were very, very, very close to. Breakdown of a bear flag that basically stayed at a bottom level, pretty much the exact same as what we're getting here, and it broke out the red downtrend line and it went. So let's see what we get. But at this moment in time, there's a lot of contrasting information, but I'm not bearish and I'm not overly bullish. I'm hedging my bets towards being reasonably bullish, but again, anything can happen. I really want to see this come down to about 46,000, close at 46,000. Maybe for it to come even lower, it's like 45, bounce to 46, close at 46, create that bull div, and hopefully that will be enough for us to go. But again, let's see what we get with it. But let's move on to a few others. So I've done Ethereum, Bitcoin, yeah. Okay, let's just do Ethereum. So again, this level would be the yellow box. I posted the chart this morning in the watch list. I would consider re-adding positions in the yellow box. Yeah, that's what I think. But Ethereum is usually the season leader. So Ethereum will make its move and it will be the coin that indicates if we're going to have a season or not. It'll be the first mover basically. So with Ethereum now, I look to fill not big orders, but decent orders in the yellow box and see what happens. I'd fill orders all the way down to the bottom of the green box, to be honest, and I'd start from the top of the yellow box. I would look to see it hold all the way up to 3,150. I wouldn't have a major stop loss because I would assume this area here will hold. But again, let's see what happens. Litecoin doesn't look great. Yeah, a lot of coins are in these big red downtrend lines, creating flags. The flags are broken down, but they're now they're not breaking down to the next target. They're just staying at this same level. I mean, let's see what we get. Because now actually looks like it might break down. But as long as it holds this support here, which I think will be the pivot. Yeah, as long as it holds this pivot and it doesn't close below this pivot, we'll probably be okay. But yeah, Litecoin isn't one I'm fully interested in playing at this moment in time. It needs to hold the $140 level. That's for certain. But yeah, let's see. Solana. Okay, this is everyone's favorite. This is one of my favorites. This looks really ugly. It's filling this bottom yellow box now, so that's actually that could be a good buy. It might be worth doing some. Hang on, I'm also going to check my phone now, because I want to just place some orders for some of this stuff. So I'm now going to place an order for $150 for Sol, and I'm going to buy some of them. Okay, so I have actually just done Sol. Matic, it just creates so many better divs, Matic. So even here, I wouldn't even be that confident of filling there, but it might be worth filling at the bottom of the box just for a quick bounce up. But this is an unclean chart now. The levels aren't good for me. It's a great coin. If you've got the coin, I would consider just buying and holding it for ages. But in terms of a quick trade, this level might be good, but I'm just not interested for now. It created too many bear divs here. ADOR could be good. If it holds this horizontal level here, it might even come down, because this has been like a historical bottom. So the dollar level basically has been a historical level. I mean, this has come down quite a bit. This was at $1.31 when I posted the chart this morning. But yeah, again, let's see what we get this. It's really important we hold these horizontal supports. But this one will be the last one that's held basically. Chainlink down 13%. Christ, that's a lot. So this is the long-term uptrend. So you'd want to see the long-term uptrend hold at like $17. So it's pretty close to that, and it's had real resistance with the downtrend line, as we can see, into there, there. So it's bounced down from it a few times, but we're past the yellow boxes stage now. We have to now find historical supports that are horizontal supports, basically. Let's move to BNB. A BNB, I'd want to fill in here. If I can get the chance to fill in here, I definitely will do. But yeah, let's see what we get. If it does come down to here, I will fill for sure. Sushi, you can even say that's in a bit of a flag there. Yeah, sort of a bit of an ugly flag now, but yeah, I might just ruin that chart. But anyway, this could have a breakdown, a further breakdown. Oh, could it? Okay, this is now. Oh, okay, we have more levels. So this one I'm not interested in, just because it's shown such little amount of strength. But we have got a few coins that have had these downtrend lines and been held down by these downtrend lines. And I mean, they're really oversold now at this point. So like if you go to, so even on RSI it's at 42 from the bounce up, but we were as low as 25, which on alts is ridiculous. You don't get that sort of amount of oversoldness on alts. But yeah, again, another one we'll have to see. This one I'm not interested in. I would forget about this one for now. AVAX, I would definitely start filling in this yellow box. Even if you only just get a bounce out, fine, I'll take the bounce out. But this is the area where there might be some like institutional long orders. So long orders from hedge funds and stuff like that, potentially. But let's see. Luna is right back down to our yellow box area. Would I feel it's a bit frightening to refill again there, especially when you've done a bear div here? Yeah, even when you've done, no, there was the bear div, so I wouldn't fill here. I just wouldn't. So forget that one. Polkadot. Breaking down of the bear fact. This was one that was holding and was trying to approach its red downtrend line. For here now, you'd want to see it hold the horizontal support. That's definite. But this is now scary, people. This might be the last shakeout that's needed. We might. Okay, I'll come back to that. Explain the whole picture. Let's do curve. Filling in the main box. Would I fill here? I don't know if I want to be filling here. I feel small orders in here, that's for sure. Sand. bear flag breaking down out of the downtrend line, I'd be filling in this yellow box here. Even with this one has gone up too much. This does need to come right down. So I might fill in here a small order for a bounce. That's it, nothing more than that. Mana, again, I might do the same thing in here. It needs to come. I mean, look at this. This needs to come back down to $1 at some point, probably. But that will be bear market territory. But here you might get a bounce and some consolidation. Phantom. Again, not interested in this. I might buy it up at $1.16 level. But yeah, that's it for the charts. Let's go back to Bitcoin. So it looks like we're going to get the bull div. Well, it doesn't. We've got 4 hours and 23 minutes yet. There's a lot that can still happen. But if we do get that, and then we get a bit more of consolidation, we might get another bit of a low down into the 45s. But yeah, I would want to see the bull div be created, find some support. I wouldn't want it to break down below the yellow box, and particularly not this white horizontal line. But yeah, that's where I'm at this moment in time. I want to see what happens on Wednesday. I want to see how this closes tonight and how it closes over the next few days. Can it show enough strength to hold up? That's what I want to see. But at this moment in time, there's going to be this fear and greed index tomorrow will come out at now 28. It might come out at 20 tomorrow, 21. And that's in 4 hours. So I'll load that up as well. But I hope this might come out 21, 20, and this. You know, I can't ignore the data, what we saw in things like this. The fear and greed index as well on this chart in terms of like areas which we could have bought. It seems to be the case at times of fear is when you should most likely buy, and in times of greed is when you need to sell. And that's been something that's been there for, you know, let's click max. Okay, this is just too hard so you can read the dates. Okay, forget about that. But usually, yeah, it's the times where there's most fear that you should be buying, and times of most greed that you should be selling. And I personally do want to start making a small position in this just to see what happens. Yeah, I think I sort of want to start making a small position in this, but let's see how it closes first, and let's see how it goes tomorrow, because we might just come down to like 44. But I want to see the bull div be created, and at this moment in time, that's what will be created, which is good to see. Let's check on a daily. On a daily, again, that would be a bull div there as well. If we close where we are, that would be a bull div. Let's check the 3 days. No, 3 days won't be. But the 3 days might fill the golden pocket properly. This could be... The 3 days is okay. We need to look at the 12-hour and the daily as our main ones. The daily is important. But you'll get a bull div on the daily if we close where we are. You'll get a bull div on the 12-hour if we close where we are as well. And in terms of my market outlook, Wednesday is very important. On chain, I'd like to see Wednesday come out. Pound be less aggressive. The on chain, take that as a good sign. Start picking up. Start accumulating more aggressively, and then we're going to have an absolute mental 3 to 6 months, which could easily. This is very. I'm not saying it's very likely, but it's very possible. Like, it's very able to happen. It's just whether or not it does happen. But yeah, let's see what we get. But yeah, I think that's it from me today. Yeah, I'm done. Cheers, everyone. I'll keep you all updated as usual. Don't worry, if anything significant changes or I change anything significantly, then I'll update you all accordingly. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.